Apparently, Expo is not just for children. It's not just for those we see writing JAM, Wike, or NECO. We have seen a live footage of an imposter, a mercenary, writing exams for, allegedly, Taraba State Finance Commissioner. This came shocking during the ICAN professional exams, where a lady was caught writing exams for someone she mentioned to be the Taraba State Finance Commissioner, Dr. Sarah Enoch Adi, although she did deny this claim and any knowledge of the individual or the exam. Join us today on the morning break as we go deeper into these stories. My name is Abbas Muhammad.
My name is Barry to the world.
Mohammed Kabir.
Welcome. So, over the week, Dr. Sarah Enoch Adi denies any knowledge of the individual or the exam, of the ICAN professional exam. She said she never registered for this exam and she has a background in accounting with multiple degrees. In context, supporters of Dr. Adi claim that this video is a blackmail attempt and smear campaign, possibly related to the ongoing payroll reforms in Taraba State. And this brings a lot of questions online. People saying, what really is going on here? ICAN is supposed to be a professional exam. There's a lot of scrutiny going on before you can write such an exam. You have to go through the processes of thumbprinting, biometrics, where you cannot impersonate someone. So, like, how did this person go through all these stages, to get into the exam hall, and then she was caught red-handed in the exam? How did she pass the biometrics? Who was bribed? Is ICAN having loopholes and leaks within the organization? Is it that we're having people who are collecting bribes? And if so, how many of these type of people in power have had mercenaries writing these exams for them? And how do we know who is right and who is wrong? And if this Taraba State Finance Commissioner is responsible for this, and she is allegedly, the story is an alleged, but we see the police are still digging into it, and ICAN is still digging into it. If it is true, what has she done so far in power? Was she just placed there, and how qualified is she to be there? Barry, what do you think about this story?
I mean, it's a topic of who said what, who is right, who is not, because it's them say. It hasn't been proven that this person was actually paid. So when she was asked, she said that someone paid her. The person in question, she said that someone paid her to write the exams for Dr. Sarah. And it's weird because the doctor in question said, I didn't do any such thing. I didn't enroll in such exams. And like you said, the whole verification process, was there a fault? Did she carry any form? Was there a means she used to bypass the verification process? How airtight is the ICAN verification process? I heard that you also have to have written a particular exams. You have actually have written 3 of that exams to actually come through. Is it that in her ID card, because you have a means of verification in her ID card, it's showing a different picture and everything? And all we're hearing is that it's her word that we're hearing. We're not hearing pictorial evidence. We didn't see a seized card with the lady's picture in question. We didn't see any of that. So anyways, I can say they are going to look into the matter, and we do hope that they get to the bottom of it. I really do hope that it's not a smear campaign, because this particular minister of finance in Taraba, she has worked 2 years already and diligently for the people of Taraba State. I mean, her supporters came out and said this is a smear campaign. This is possibly a smear campaign. I feel she has done her bit, but let's just hope it's not a malicious attempt from concerned
forces.
Yes.
Well, like you mentioned, talking about it could be a smear campaign, and then you have to write certain exams before you get to it. You have to write 3 8 years exams actually before you get to the ICAN state to write those exams. So if someone has been writing for her, can they not trace these exams? And I might mention that from the video we saw, it was really, would I call it unprofessional? That they were investigating. It was not just Levis Felix. One of the people that was writing exam for the commissioner was Levis Felix, and also another guy was caught writing for someone else, I believe a teacher from British Turkish School, I think, over there. They were interviewing these people right in the exam hall while people were still writing exams, because you could hear someone in the program saying 30 minutes more. Yeah, from the video I saw, they were investigating these people in the exam hall, which was very, very unprofessional. And you'd wonder, for something that is like ICAN, that's supposed to be a high professional exam,
Looked like it was
that
staged.
activity, exactly, it was looking at something that is staged. And it begs the question, was Dr. Enoch actually right saying that this was a smear campaign on her? They were trying to tarnish her image. And hopefully when we dig that, let ICAN and those who did that video be held strictly responsible for the damages they have caused on her image and for the professional exam itself, because ICAN should not be something we treat anyhow. You know, we've seen situations like, you know, in JAMB, in Wike, where students are caught on malpractice, and this process in which the security for process for these exams are very, very crucial. You know, like JAMB, as for children, you can see the amount of cameras we see in these CBT centers, the invigilators. Before you even go into the exam hall, you have to undergo biometrics, put in your thumbprint. If your thumbprint is having, you know, this henna design, this henna design that is done on the hand, if it's, you have it and then you are not verified, and the people can actually see your slip with your face, your name, your ID card, your NIN, and your face is showing the screen, but your thumbprint is not active, you will not write that exam. You will be pushed over probably to another day. They'll reschedule an exam for you until they can verify you. Now you can imagine an ICAN that is supposed to be for adults is now having this type of issues, that someone has bypassed all these biometrics to write the exam. It raises a lot of questions. Kebi, what do you think about this?
You see, when I came across this news, what I I asked myself is, if truly she did this, then this is an act that is not only a mockery to the values of hard work, integrity, and meritocracy. It is a disrespect to the institution. That's if she actually did it. If she was not framed as she said. Because you see, there are implications to these actions. This, in case if she was guilty, the implications of this is it's going to undermine public trust. She is a public office holder. So what are people going to say? She's a person that is in charge of finance of a state. If she's caught with this kind of actions, then what are we going to ask about her integrity to hold certain office? A very sensitive position like this. And you see, moving on, we are going to look at how it's going to compromise institutional integrity. Not only her own, it's still going to it's going to undermine the whole institution, the whole state. It's not, because we are going to look at, okay, if she's found guilty, does that mean Taraba State government do not even check all these people? They do not do background check. They just pick these people and give them appointments. That's if she's guilty of the crime she's been accused. So I think there should be a call to action. There should be proper investigation towards this, because we cannot come and, what if she's just been framed? If she's been framed, then definitely there's supposed to be a legal action for somebody that decides to put these allegations, put her in this kind of mess. But if it's true, if she's found guilty, then there should be proper punishment, probably for her to the extent of her being withdrawn from that position. So I think there should be a proper investigation towards this whole issue before they'll start putting blame on certain people.
Well, we do hope due diligence is done and we do see justice, and this, we do not see certain things like this anymore, because this is really showing a bad image for the younger ones, saying, okay, if those in power, if those who are adults, those who are leading the country are undergoing malpractice, what is stopping us also from doing the same thing? That will be what the children might be thinking. So we do hope that justice is served, and then we see that full extent of the law is carried out in this situation. Dr. Sarah Enoch Adi denies the claim, and she also has a background in accounting with multiple degrees, an ND, a HND, an MSc, and a PhD. And she said she never registered for this exam. So if this is actually an attempt to tarnish her image, we do hope that she is protected and she sues for defamation, and we see the full extent of the law. Moving on to education, Gombe State to prosecute guardians of out-of-school children. Over on Monday, the Gombe State government says it to prosecute parents and guardians for not sending their children to school. The chairman of Gombe UBEB, that is the Universal Basic Education Board, Babadidi, said this on Monday. He said that the 14 parents could face a 2-month jail term under Section 19, subsection 2 of the Superb Amendment Law of 2021. He said this was a necessary measure to ensure that every child has access to quality education. But then this begs the question as to what are the measures that these people are actually taking, KB? Because we've seen a situation in Borno where the governor said he was going to be giving stipends, he was going to be paying money to parents, to cater for them so that they can send their children to school, because education is really, really important. And we are not disputing this fact. But then at the same time, we've seen where free school approach is in states like Katsina State, for example. School is free. Public school is free. You can go to school, you can learn. All you have to do, I believe, is just to get a uniform and your exercise books. But then this also begs the question, why are these people, is this really the right method to go through? Because these people are facing abject poverty. We're seeing how the economic situation of the country is going down on a daily basis. People cannot really afford 1 to 2 square meals, talk more of 3 square meals. So they send these children, probably to the markets to hawk or to help them in the farm. So if the government is really forcing these people to go and get the basic education required, are they promising their parents that, okay, the economy is going to get better, we're going to do our part, we're going to do our bit, so that you can send your children to school, so that we know that the problem is from you and not from us? What do you think?
You see, I would like, even though I understand education is a very important thing to everybody, but I think we have to look at the bigger picture here rather than forcing education on these people. How about let's address the main cause that these children are out of the school. The main thing I would like us to look at is insecurity and poverty level. Gombe, even though Gombe states it's one of the states in North that has less insecurity problem, but it is still present.
True.
It's not absent, it's present. But how about the government? The government rather look at the genesis, the main problem of the reason why these people are out of school, rather than forcing education on them. Tackle the problem of insecurity, tackle the poverty gap, the possible one you can do, rather than just forcing these children, okay, you must go to school. How do you expect somebody to go to school whereby he knows if he goes to school, how will he feed himself? Probably he's doing menial job. If he leaves that job and go to school, how do you think he's going to eat if he comes back? So I think rather than forcing people to go to school, they should try to bridge the poverty gap and that insecurity that is bothering the whole country. And you see, providing support for families, the families of these people, these children that you want them to go to school. If you are going to cover up, if you really want to force them, just like you said, if you want to put these children to school, then okay, you should cover up for certain, okay, if you are going to cover for their feeding, honestly, because you cannot tell somebody that goes to shop to learn handwork to get money daily, then you tell him no, not to go, he should come to school. Then how do you expect him to feed himself? How do you expect him to cater for his basic needs? So if the government are going to cover for these things, then fine, but it's not a must for you to come and impose education. Basic education, I understand, but you cannot force it on everybody. You should do what you can. This is where where's the presence of choice? Not everybody, it's not a must that you must go to school before you become successful.
True.
We've seen people that have not gone to school, but they are successful businessmen. So you cannot force education. It's a thing of choice. Okay, if he wants to, fine, but you cannot, to the extent of you are even making it a punishment for these people. How about people that cannot even afford it? Have you made a conducive environment for the children to go? Have you provided proper schools? If you want these children to go, have you provided proper
Exactly. This is also another issue.
Proper environment.
Exactly.
Is there proper teachers? Are they qualified teachers? Are they teaching materials? Then before you look at all this, before you try to enforce compulsory school, education on everybody. So I think Barry might have something to add on that.
I mean, it's not just the poverty. We're talking about also these children also serve as labor. They work in their parents' farms. They work in their parents' farms. They help them to sell their goods and produces. So you look at the lifestyle and culture of these people, and basically what puts food on the table. You can't tell someone who has 2 children who are helping him in the farm or helping him in the shop or helping her, basically whoever is the guardian at the shop, to say, okay, the person should leave this. How do they now take care of themselves? How do they now feed? You're telling, basically they are criminalizing poverty just yet again, because at the end of the day, it's poverty that causes all these things. You're looking for ways and measures to survive. We're talking about the poverty ratio in Nigeria. It is it is high. A lot of Nigerians live on less than $1 per day, which is crazy. And then coming out to brazenly say this, you should have actually mitigated these issues, like he said, mitigated these issues, ensure that you've done your bit as governor. You've created schools, you've created access to free education, not only access to free education, what they will eat when they're in school and everything, the learning facilities, okay, and then also comfortable timing. You're talking about, okay, it's not only that they go to school, is it convenient for them and their parents to go to school? I mean, we talked about in the 90s, there was the provision for both day and afternoon, evening school, afternoons and evening school, basically. So if those can be inculcated, that would actually, foster more participation in these school activities. Everybody wants to, get a better life. Everybody hopes for a better life, but you should actually make it reasonable. Really meet the people halfway. You don't just go. I feel like the government really of the day is not as they're not conversant with the plight of the people. You're not really conversant with the plight of. If you are conversant with the plight of the people, you will know that this is although how beautiful it may be, we know where it's coming from. It is coming from a benevolent heart. You're trying to do better for your state, but you can't come from your high horse and decide that okay, everybody go to school. There are so many issues involved. There are so many factors in
and
play.
even to add to what you said, we have a high rate of unemployment. So if you force these children to go to school, okay, they don't do any handwork, they don't have time to learn the handwork. Then when they graduate, then are they coming to join the unemployed ones? Then is that when you expect them to start learning?
For employment.
So you just
afterwards.
force people. If you want people to, they should be. There are a lot of graduates. Let them be provisioned for employment. Then we're already having a lot. So if you are pushing these people out of them learning handwork, and when they graduate, should they come and join this next batch? Then the unemployed will be like badges, will be like NYC segments badge. Honestly, so they should be provisioned. You cannot force them to.
Who was
a graduate out of unemployment.
Class.
So
because of the problem of unemployment. So I think there's something that needs to be looked into by the state governor if he wants to ensure that education looks appealing to the people.
Well, we do hope that the Gombe state government is listening and they check all these boxes before they make a law like this and they start enforcing it. The classrooms you are providing, are they suitable enough for these children to come and thrive in? The government-owned or state-owned schools, public schools, are they enough for children to come and be educated in? And also, they should remember that before, in the 90s, we've heard stories of how students go to school, they have been provided with lunch, and they are very conducive environments for you to learn. Are these being provided for these children? Not that a child is coming from home, no breakfast because his father cannot provide breakfast. You want him to learn from morning till afternoon and go back, and you've not provided anything for the child to eat. So will you jail that child's father for that? Or will you jail the child? Or will you understand? So there are so many issues here that exactly. Is poverty a crime? Is being poor a crime? Because these children might not really be able to afford private schools. Talk more of sending them to public schools without any form of feeding. And also, I believe the curriculum should be reviewed. Since we have a lot of graduates in the streets who just study and there's no jobs out there, the curriculum, personally, I believe should involve, because we're always pushing for, now we're pushing for skills, not just degree, skills, not just degree.
Studies.
So exactly, so the curriculum should now imbibe both these skills and education in one. For example, you're teaching a child in primary school, in secondary school, how to probably, let's say, make hair or do tailoring. At the same time, you're teaching him the basic. Some of these subjects, personally, I believe they are not really necessary. You can find a way to imbibe them, to minimize them, to learn just the basic, what is very, very important, that they can strive day to day. And they can protect themselves and say, okay, yes, I am educated and this is my skill. Not that, okay, someone is preferring skills only rather than a degree, that, okay, skills is what is important. But then at the end of the day, that skill that you have, when you want to expand, you want to grow bigger, you will need that education before you can speak at certain places, before you can apply for certain things. And then for the degree alone, stand alone, we have developed, the world has gone past just having a degree and saying it's enough. No, for your degree alone, you might need something to say, okay, even if the government does not provide a job for me, I can sustain myself. So that, okay, I have a degree, I'm educated. Even if I don't have a job, I have a skill that is providing for me. If I get married, if I have a child, I can send that child to school. And this Gombe state government law can be useful, saying, okay, if I don't send my child to school and I'm earning, I can go to jail for that and I can pay a fine. So we do hope the Gombe state government is listening and they will do better. Moving on to Palestine. Palestine drives for recognition at the United Nations. This is, with the ongoing war that is going between the Palestine and Israel, where Israel is trying to eradicate Hamas, who they say are staying in the Palestine country, although what they are striving for is recognition, because several countries have come out to say, yes, Palestine should stand as an independent country and they should be recognized as an independent and sovereign country and nation, avoid it to stop the genocide that is ongoing in Palestine. This also says that countries like France, Andorra, Belgium, Luxembourg, Malta, Monaco formally recognized Palestine on Monday, joining the United Kingdom, Canada, Portugal, and Australia, who recognized it a day earlier, saying that Palestine should be a sovereign state. And the state of Palestine is now recognized by 157 out of 193 United Nations member states, which is representing 81% of the international community. Although countries like the United States did disapprove of this recognition, say no, they are not ready for that yet. Efforts to grant Palestine full United Nations membership face blockades, particularly from the United States, which has a history of vetoing resolutions critical of Israel, which is raising a lot of questions. Also, at the same time, the President of Israel, Netanyahu, was talking about, probably before then, President of France, Emmanuel Macron, said to applaud from those that at the meeting, standing ovation, saying that Palestine should be a sovereign state. Although President of Israel said a Palestinian state will not be established west of the Jordan River. And the United Nations, just from the name, United Nations, this is a place where all nations come together, standing at one front to look at the interests of each other. But then we're having this kind of division whereby we're seeing genocides from what the media covers and brings. We're seeing a lot of genocides, we're seeing a lot of killings, we're seeing a lot of unethical, I think we'll call it that, it's unethical attacks on Palestine from Israel, saying that this is who they are targeting and Hamas is in Palestine and they are stopping at nothing to get to these terrorists to say that, okay, we do not feel safe when our neighbors are harboring criminals or terrorists who will bring harm to us. But then we've seen a situation whereby they have attacked Palestine, they have attacked, recently, Qatar, where the UAE have condemned this attack, saying that, okay, you're attacking these people, but then how far would you go in this situation? KB, what do you think about this story?
You see, one of the things I would really like to highlight is, in the United Nations, I thought each states are equal, but how comes we see an association whereby, a union whereby if Russia attacks Ukraine now, everybody will come out and say Russia this. But we've seen how Israel have attacked these people, not them. They've gone beyond them, attacking their neighbors, Yemen, Jordan, Qatar. And you still say these people are the problem. I think these people are, you cannot be fighting, one person cannot be fighting 5 different people and you still say these people, you are the problem. And everybody is entitled to free will. You allow these people, they are not occupying your territory. Where's the justice? Where's the equal justice? And I've seen whereby people a lot of times they will have a peace talk and Israel will move on to still do what they want to do. And there's no proper sanction. Does that mean that Israel are superior to everybody? Or is it because of their alliance with the United States?
True.
So I think there should be a proper call to action. They should call these people to order. Nobody have invaded them. They are staying free. Nobody will just come out. Even though we know how powerful Israel is. We know the kind of weapons they possess. But you cannot just come and invade people's territory and try to tell them this you want them to do you only want them to do what you want. It's impossible. And the problem is, I think there's a hypocritical nature in the international system whereby something like this is happening. They should call, that's the whole, I think that was the whole idea behind the coming together, the whole United Nations. When a state is moving otherwise, they should call it to action. But you see, I think it's because of their alliance with the United States that they get to do what they want, and they go away scot-free. So I think there should be a call to action, because these people are over 100 countries have recognized them as an independent entity. Then you should let these people live their lives. You are in no position to tell them what to do. This is their territory. As long as they do not harm you, then it's fine. But how only one state will fight with difference, and yet you people still say they are the problem?
Yeah, the issue here is the issue here between the Israel-Palestine war is that Hamas is the target of Israel. But then looking at the records and the stories so far showing the damages that Israel has done on Palestine itself, you wonder, is Palestine populated mainly by just Hamas?
But we've seen how they've attacked hospitals too.
Exactly.
I think in a war I think women and children are exempted. And hospitals.
Exactly.
But we've seen where they attack hospitals.
How far is Israel willing to go, in the pursuit of the terrorists? Because I can understand the issue of having, being scared of having terrorists, because presently the Russian-Ukraine war is that Ukraine was trying to join NATO, and NATO has an element of United States, and Russia is saying, we do not want these people close to us, so therefore we are going to attack and retain this certain territory. You can replicate that, with Israel-Palestine, where Israel is saying, okay, we have these terrorists close to us. We do not want this type of situation, so therefore we are going to. But then, how far are you willing to go to attack women, children, hospitals, schools? If you say these people are living within the country, then what other measures can? Because this is actually a move to try and end
in a bigger context, attacking women and children, it's a war crime.
Exactly.
So I think
what blind eye are they trying to turn onto the issue? Well, we do hope we see a positive return, because these are the issues. How far is Israel willing to go? How far is the United States willing to go to provide a better solution? Because you are not letting these people into your country. It's not like you are providing. What non-violent measure do you have presently at hand to say, okay, this is what you want? And we do hope we see something better on this story. Now back to Nigeria, where ex-Rivers Administrator Ibas refuses audits. We have seen a successful return of democracy in the Rivers State government, where in a situation whereby the governor, similar Fubara, was suspended, and then the Vice Admiral Ibas was stated to take over to be the sole administrator of Rivers State. But then now, the State Assembly is stating that he should be probed for his expenditure within the states, stating the Vice Admiral Ibas, the former sole administrator, during his 6 months, has rejected the Rivers State House of Assembly to audit his spending. He was the sole administrator, unlike when if it was the governor, there's break of power. The allegations is that the civil society organizations are raising concerns about the management of 254.37 billion received during his tenure, citing stalled projects and lack of a budget implementation report. It begs the question, who really is able to question, this sole administrator? He was placed there by the president. So is he saying that he's not accountable to the state, because the state has taken over now? So it's only right for them to check what has been done to their beloved states during their absence, where they did not really have a say. Barry, do you have anything on this?
I feel he should be answerable to someone, obviously, definitely. But the question as to who he is answerable to also is there. He put in a military person there, a naval officer there, and basically under the ranks and files, I don't think he thinks he is doesn't think he's accountable to them. He doesn't think he's accountable to them. So I think the people who he is accountable, they should meet the people who he is accountable to probe him, because this is a democratic system. There has to be checks and balances. Over almost 250 billion was spent. He needs to account for this expenditure, how they were spent, what they were spent on, and where are the visible places, okay, that we can mark and say, and mark and say, okay, this is what it was used for, this is what it was used for. If he could come out and do that, then there's that. Because there's this narrative of public office holders being above the law.
True.
There's that notion. So is it that despite the person who is being put there, they have that notion, you can't question me, who are you to question me? It's that whole, it's the attitude, it is the stance that they basically have. And we do hope that he'll be able to I mean, he was put in there by the president of the nation. I think the house can
Well, he should. I believe he
I
should be
think the
probed.
house can, they can call in the president and put him. Do you understand? I think it's a tricky situation at this point. I don't know who can be blamed, or who can be called to order on this account, but something needs to be done. This particular money amount that has been spent cannot go unaccounted for, and that's my
Truly,
take
if
on
there
it.
is no any act of or elements of corruption in the whole issue, I believe the president, since he placed him there, he can come out and say, okay, this is what he actually did, since he believes that the state's House of Assembly does not have power over him to probe him and audit him. Then the person who placed him in power should be able to do that so that the people can rest easy saying, okay, our funds were properly spent. Because you can see what they did mention, how some projects were being stalled and they were not completed, or they were not progressing during the sole administration over a period of 6 months. I know you are talking about figures in billions, which will have gone into proper processes and projects. So hopefully the president does better. Sorry, I'm hoping the president probes the sole administrator and gives a detailed report to the State House of Assembly. And moving on to Obi Cubana, who celebrates Lagos hawker now turned a graduate. The backstory here is that the person in the name of Ekuma Jeremiah was a hawker back in 2022. A video of him was seen distributing money to a bus carrying of correctional prison service. I believe it was carrying inmates, and he was giving them out cash. He was a hawker, a petty trader, but he was so compassionate enough to feel for them, and he gave them cash while passing. And the video went viral. A lot of people were being tagged. Whenever something goes on Instagram and stuff, there's always people they tag, likes of that, the freeze and co. And something was put together for him. Although when the options were placed in front of him saying, okay, do you want immediate financial offer at this particular juncture? Okay, the way we see trends, when something goes viral, people just donate money, 1 million, 10 million, 20 million, say, okay, take. He rejected it and said he wanted to continue pursuing his education, and then he went for law. He studied law, and now he is a graduate of law. And Obi Cubana celebrated him, and he said, this just shows that the boy has a dedication. He has a dream. This is what he wants to achieve, rather than, most people will go for the money at the moment. But then how well do you know to handle that kind of finance? Because if you're not really educated, if you are giving a lot of money, yes, at that particular moment, it might look like, okay, yeah, this is golden. This is a golden opportunity for me. Let me take it. But then what can you do with it? What businesses can you go into? Because these people that give you this money, they do not necessarily give you financial advice or anything. They don't put you through. They just give you the money, and then they believe if you know what to do with it, you will. If not, a few years after, you crash. Kebi, what do you think about it? Would you have taken the money at that time? Would you have taken that money, or would you continue to pursue your education?
I think I'll look at it from angle of priorities. There are certain people who see business as the way out. For someone like that, I think he would rather take the money and invest in something. And there are people who see education as the way out. So I think for him, he made a choice. He feels like it's settled with him. But I would like to just trace back to what we just discussed about Gombe. You see, this was the approach I think the government was supposed to do. Rather than force it on people, you let them choose what they want. Like I said, they should choose. Okay, if they want to do business, fine. If they want to venture, even though you can ask, just basic education is okay, but you can't force it on people. And I would like to commend Obi Cubana and the whole of Nigerians who contributed. This is to show how powerful one community is and how powerful Nigerians support each other in time of needs. We've seen how generous he was giving the prisoners money, and you see how it came back to him. They said, goodness always comes back so as bad. So he chose kindness, and this is how it got back to him. And congratulations to him for him achieving such goal he wanted, to be a lawyer. So because now he would address him as a lawyer, and this is to show Nigerians that even during these trying times, Nigerians still got each other's back. So
Yeah, Barry, you can also consider the fact that him taking that money might not necessarily have taken him so far because he might have lost contact with these people. But then now that he has gone to pursue his law career and now he is the lawyer, don't you think that it has even opened greater doors for him? Because as a lawyer now, he can actually gainfully employ himself or even go to these people that contributed financial uplift for him. They will have, he can go back to them and say, okay, I'm now a lawyer. They can actually gainfully employ him, and this could be even a lifetime deal coming with income rather than a one-time income.
I really don't know. I don't know what the future holds for Jeremiah. I don't know how far Nigerians are willing to help him, like further help him, because they really have helped him so far. But it just, his story is the show of how kindness can uplift you. A little bit of kindness wouldn't hurt you. I mean, he was in traffic, he was selling his goods, and then he just decided to give certain prisoners food. He wasn't supposed to, it wasn't mandated of him, but he had empathy, he had kindness, and that particular kind of kindness was what was multiplied back to him. So it's because of his kindness that he's where he is today, and I hope that he does not forget that. He doesn't forget that it's actually a take home. It's a take home lesson from this entire situation. How far kindness can lift you. A simple act of kindness, and we've seen it being replicated. And I feel it is the story of stewardship. I mean, they took him to school and he was able to graduate. He was able to pull it off. Like, to graduate from the from law is not a small feat at
True.
all. It is not a small feat. And he was able to pull it off. So I think based on his level of performance, I think Nigerians will do more to help him. I don't know who are the people out there watching him as a success story or willing to invest more in him. I mean, Obi Cubana has thrown his weight behind him. I hope it comes with financial backing as well.
Well, he's not lacking in that also, we know that.
Exactly. So I just hope that his story doesn't end here. It's not just in words. I hope that Nigerians actually assist him, and even with the education that he has gotten, he'll be able to make a way for himself. I mean, he's not a charity project,
and
with
law,
this
study law,
do you
which is
understand? With
independent
just
course.
this certificate, I mean, although he has to go to law school and be called to bar before he can actually practice, but after he goes through the entire process, I mean, there is no telling his limits and the level of success that he will
The sky
attain
is very
onto.
wide.
Yes,
The
the
sky. And you
sky is
see,
wide.
just a little addition to what you said. I think that's to show you how Jeremiah has been dedicated. We've seen where sponsors try to sponsor people, but at the end of the day, the people are not serious and it crashes.
True.
So this is to show how not only they want to help you, are you willing to help yourself? Jeremiah was willing to help himself. That's why he was so dedicated to his course, and he actually graduated. He did well. So this is like a wake-up call. I think I read something a few weeks where a pastor helped some people, and at the end of the day,
true.
the whole thing did not work out. So they were not willing to help themselves. So I think this is a wake-up call for everybody. If someone is willing to help you, be willing to help yourself also.
True. We do hope people learn a lot of story from this, and story of empathy, pushing your dreams, and that education is really not dead. Moving on to how success can, weigh very heavily on an individual. The crooner of I potopotto my eyes, tension, I cry. Well,
the king of depressing music.
Exactly. This particular singer's lyrics comes with a lot of deep meaning and sadness. A lot of people who are in a depressive state, they relate so well to his music. Omoyele had an outburst recently on Snapchat. This is coming after he separated from his team, parting with his manager Muyiwa Awoniyi, though there were conflicting accounts about whether the separation was amicable or not. This is not the first time Omoyele has had an outburst on social media where he said he was depressed. His post was really, really alarming, where he was using the F word, F this, F that, F this president, F the industry and whatnot. It was really, really sad to see. And also at the same time, like I mentioned, this is not the first time Omoyele is having and all over social media and complaining about being depressed. In 2022, remember where he narrated he had an intimate relationship, which is very, very unethical and unprofessional to have with your therapist. You wonder what kind of therapy this therapist was administering to him to have gone that intimate. And he said after that incident that he was really depressed, because I believe they broke up or something, because you've shared so much with this particular person. Barry, what do you think about celebrities being depressed, and in this particular case of Omale?
I don't know. I feel the cause of his depression is unknown to us. Although here in this case in context, it's the issue with his management, it's the issue with the music industry, and it's taking its toll on him. But I feel Omale has been depressed way beyond this time. I mean, it shows and tells in his music, in his musical approach. You could tell with certain musical artists, you could tell their state of being from their songs. Like, for instance, Billie Eilish. You
True.
could tell from their lyrics. I mean, there is no hiding it from the lyrics that they portray and put out there. I think it's something he should solve, he should resolve. I mean, if that therapist couldn't do it, yeah, I think this time around he should go for a male therapist so that he doesn't get to sleep with this one as well. And I hope to God that he is straight, because that might also still be an issue if he isn't.
Exactly, that would double depression.
So
By depression.
yes, so I feel he should, because health is something we shouldn't take for granted. It also raises awareness towards your mental health. Your mental health is a serious issue, like something you should take seriously. It's the difference between you being hale and happy and committing suicide the next day. And some people will say, the person looked happy, and the person smiled and everything.
Exactly.
And then there's these things that they say, check on your happy friends.
They may not really be happy.
They may not really be happy. They may not. So it also is a question on who are his friends, who are his community, because that also affects your state of being. I mean, the kind of people you associate with, the kind of people that you are around. Are you surrounded by love? Are you surrounded by people that care, that genuinely care about you? And that basically affects your entire mood. And like family, what are the family that he has put around himself? And I think, because the music industry is a dangerous place. You don't know who to trust. You don't know who you don't know who to trust, who is actually really for you, who is with you for
True.
you, and not just for your fame or your money. And I feel like the people that were with him, his family, should be his safe net right now. He should look towards strengthening his relationship with his immediate family, and taking a time out. It wouldn't hurt to take a time out. This industry will continue without you being there. And everybody that is telling you, create more sad songs and everything, they will continue after you die. So do what's best for you and live a happy life, because you are the one who actually matters. You are the star of your life and star of your show, main character of your story.
True. KB, do you have anything to add on, this mental health issue?
You see, what I would like to add, the society have portrayed men to be people that don't speak up about what's disturbing them. They should swallow it. But I think in this case, it's not something we'd like to see. They are humans. We are all human. So in case he has something that's bothering him, which obviously, as we can see, he should have someone he should open up to. Not necessarily a therapist. You have friends that you trust. If you don't have, you have relatives. So I think rather than, because we've seen instances like this whereby people don't open up and they end up killing themselves. So this is not something we'd like to see, because people have already labeled him as the king of sad songs, depressing songs. All his songs are mostly depressing, but that might be what, like what Barry said, that might be what he's going through. Because we've seen instances whereby this trap artists, they talk about gang violence, which that's what they do. So this might actually be what he's going through. He might be explaining himself in these songs. But Nigerians, we just vibe.
Everything is cruise.
So I think he should have someone. They should have people that are going to look deeper to this thing with him. They should have people that should talk to him if he wants to talk. Even if people should convince him, because sometimes people don't really know how to express themselves. So they should have people he trusts, his friends, family, that will talk to him. What is wrong? and let them see how they are going to, because I doubt this is going to be a financial issue for someone like that. So I know it's something that's going to really mess with his mental health, because I think some problems are better, they should even better be financial than mental problems. So
Well,
think
personally, I believe neither of them is good. Financial
yeah,
problems can lead to
but
mental health problems. But then we do hope he gets better. He seeks the help he wants, because we've seen a lot of situations where artists commit suicide, celebrities in general, because they don't really feel heard. It's like so many people know you, but they don't really know you that deeply. Because we've seen where situations like artists like Avicii, that committed suicide in the past, and so many more. We do hope he gets better and he gets the help he deserves and wants. And now moving on, still on entertainment, moving on to Spyro. Who's your guy? Spyro said his guy is no longer a guy, but now a lady. He has found his missing rib. And it happened like a fairy tale story, 2:48 a.m. in 2024, while he was working at a Lagos club. This is a really funny story. I thought they said club, like Ed Sheeran said, club is not the place you find
Best
love.
place
but
to
Mr.
find
I think
love.
Mr. Easy have
The
already proved us wrong on that.
Exactly. Since Mr. Easy said he found his love in
The
a club.
club, so
Spyro said he found his
maybe I
in a
should be
club.
going to a club on Friday. Maybe
Exactly.
I'll find
Exactly.
I'm in the club.
In the midst of all the bottles, how do you pick a wife? Who do you know is wife material and who is not? Nigerian figure, his full name Oludupe David, popularly known as Spyro, said he is engaged. He got engaged, on Friday, September 19th. That was last week, and that he has found his missing rib. And we do hope we see more artists that find their missing rib. We don't know whether it is in club or not, but then you also should shine your eyes. Just because it worked for Spyro does not mean it will work for you. Do you have Spyro's fame? Do you have Spyro's money? Do you have Mr. Easy's money? Remember when we heard that Mr. Easy got a 19 million naira loan,
when he was 19.
Gift? Yeah, exactly, at the age of 19 to start a business. So you can imagine someone already touching that type of money. Have you seen 19 million naira yet? Exactly.
Let's leave it. Let's leave
the story at that. And then, for a joyful story to a very sorrowful and sad story, Unilag Faculty President drowned at a beach. Balogun, the president name of Balogun Damilola, the newly elected president of the Faculty of Education at Unilag, drowned at a Lagos beach. This young lad was at the age of 22 when he went to he was very celebrated, someone who was charismatic, was very jovial. Unfortunately, he was swept away by strong waves while attempting a backflip along the shores. A friend was reportedly filming him just moments before this happened. Further details of the story shows that when these waves took him away, he was not really found that day. He was found a whole day after, which raised a lot of questions we would like to delve into here at the Morning Break Show. Because where were the lifeguards? We've seen situations whereby how crowded these beaches can get, especially during festive seasons, where the beach is so crowded that you wonder if this is not really close to water. Are people really that good? Because this is, let's be frank with ourselves, this is Africa, this is Nigeria. It's not like everybody swims. Not everybody is from the riverine areas, and even those who are from there, how good are they at swimming? These are currents coming from, I believe, the ocean, which are strong, with strong waves that can pick up a full-grown adult. So what are the safety measures that we take on these beaches? Because we have agencies who are making money off these beaches, because we have vendors there who pay tax, who pay funds to several organizations. And we've seen, I believe in 2024 or 2022, where these organizations held a meeting saying they need more lifeguards and whatnot. But then, are there lifeguards there? Are there equipment? Do we have boats? Because I believe someone that was swept away from the shore where people are saying there should be lifeguards with their boats out there. There should be a lighthouse. There should be lifeguards, with binoculars surveying this shoreline. As soon as this guy was taken, a boat will have gone there to pick him up with a life jacket.
Yes.
So, this plays a lot of questions as to what really is going. Barry, do you have more on this?
I'm really just sad. I'm troubled by the loss of that life. I mean,
very young life.
He went to further his education. Although yes, we remember him as their president of their faculty and everything, but he went to get a further education for himself, and his life was just cut short by, I mean, we're talking about security. Security is really the issue of this country. You're talking about lifeguards that were supposed to be on seat. We're supposed to be there. They monetize these beaches. A lot of money. They get a lot of money from tourists or locals who come to these beaches to have fun. So these monies, they are not used to maintain the beach. They're not used to ensure that the people who come to this beach are safe, they are secure. Like how many incidents have to happen before these particular measures are put in place? The laws, the regulations, okay, don't swim past this, don't go past this point. Okay, the currents are stronger at this particular point and everything. It is sad that every time we come here, most of the time we come here, we have at least a story to tell about negligence of someone, of one agency or another, of one form of security, because now this is a lifeguard. So is it that we don't take these things seriously in this country? Anything can just happen at any time without any consequences. I feel this is a wake-up call. If they haven't had it before, this is a wake-up call. This young life was cut short because certain people weren't on duty, certain people weren't doing their jobs. And I hope to God that these particular issues are being mitigated, and our beaches, at least our fun areas, are at least safe for people to go. I mean, Nigeria is, a lot is going on. At least people can be able to have fun and come back from having fun.
True.
It's a really sad story.
Exactly, it was a very sad day at Idado Beach. We do hope the security force will do better. And apart from the issue of having lifeguards and all, people should really, really know their limits. They should understand that swimming in a river, swimming in a bathtub
It's different from
exactly. It's different from going to the ocean. It's different from a pool, and from a pool is different from the ocean, because we're having waves. You're having a lot of currents, going out there. So attention might not be. Not everyone knows how to swim. So when you're attempting a backflip at a shoreline, we should also consider that. Not that we're putting a blame on him. We're not saying that he was wrong for that. No, he was just here to have fun. He was attempting a backflip, something that would have been considered fun. If he had done that, it would have been probably a viral, social media moment. But then, unfortunately, the system did not really work in his favor, and he was drowned, and his body was found a day later. This is really what makes me sad. Finding it a day later is really, really sad, because it's something that could have been saved. Attention could have gotten to him, and I do hope that this is something that serves as a deterrent.
You see, to add to what my sister here said, you see, apart from having lifeguards, if you want to enter this beach, there are certain money, tickets, entry fee they collect from you people.
Exactly.
Then why not have an overseer? Okay, this is the seaside. They should have a tower. Okay, this is who is to oversee this thing. When there's this problem, you call the lifeguards. There was nothing. You just collected their money and asked them to go and have fun. Anything that happened is on you. So I think it's just as if you go to a zoo, you just collect, and the animals are roaming, you just collect entry fee. So they should have people that oversee this. But you don't just collect people's money and let them, because I didn't mean there was an overseer. He would have, somebody that watches, there was a watchdog there, he would have maybe raised an alarm. Okay, see somebody there. Okay, you come back, don't reach that side. But there was nothing. So I think they should do better in that aspect.
Honestly, we do
hope not want to see this kind of news again.
Exactly. Honestly, we do hope they do better, and we see more progress, and we do not see any more sad stories from the likes of these happenings. There should be safety measures. There should be money invested, because most money, whatever is invested in this, it will really yield positively, because life does not have a price, and we do not want to see further losses of this priceless venture. And also, this is all we have today on the morning break. I remain Abbas Muhammad.
And I am Barry to the world.
And I'm Mohammed Kabir. Thank you for being with us.
Join us next time on The Morning Break.